In the previous tutorial, we have installed Groovy on my local machine. In this tutorial, we are going to learn some basics of Groovy. You can write Groovy in your preferable IDE. In this course, I'm going to use IntelliJ Community Edition. I'll choose to create a new project. I'm going to choose Groovy and select the library from the folder where we installed Groovy. I'm going to select Groovy version 3 and hit OK. And next, and then change the project name. I'll name it Groovy Basics. And hit finish. Now I'll navigate to Groovy Basics project, and under source I'm going to create a new Groovy script and name it Groovy Starter. And now we can start writing our Groovy script. Groovy is very Java-like syntax. Actually, most of Java syntax are valid Groovy syntax. Though keep in mind, Groovy is never intended to replace Java. Groovy extends Java to make it easier, and it uses some more modern features like closures, builders, and metaprogramming. I'm going to write a simple Java program to show you it can compile in Groovy without any issues. And let's run the program now. Groovy is able to understand our Java syntax, and it compiled a full Java program in Groovy. Groovy is not as strict in terms of syntax, so we can basically remove the class name and the main method and just keep system.out.println, and let's run the program again. And we can see hello my Groovy. Now let's take this further and remove the semicolon. Semicolon is optional in Groovy, so this Groovy script should run without problem. And we can see hello my Groovy. And now we really don't need system.out because Groovy does know this println coming from system.out, so we can take it out and just have println. And let's run it. And again we see hello my Groovy. Well, do we need the parentheses? And yes, you're right, we don't need them, so we can remove the parentheses as well. And it still runs fine. You can see hello my Groovy. And since this is a string, Groovy allows us to use only single quotation, so you can do this with a single quotation, and this should run fine. It's important to mention that if your string contains a variable, then you need to use a double quotation. So let's take an example. I'll define string course equal to Gradle, and then I'll print between a single quotation my string, and I want to add to that the value of variable course. In Groovy we use $, in curly braces, and between them we mention the variable name. Now if we run this program, the substitution for the variable course will not happen correctly because we're using a single quotation. So let's give it a run. And we can see here my string $course. So the substitution didn't happen correctly. Now if we replace this single quotation with a double quotation, this should work fine. And we can see here my string Gradle. You also can remove these curly braces and the program should run fine. We talked about Gradle as optionally typed language, which means you as a programmer have an option to define your data type or leave it to the language to decide the data type of the variable. Let's take an example. We're going to change the type from string to def. The reason for that, we want Groovy to find out what is the type by itself. I'll use def instead of string here. And let's execute the program again. And the program executes without any issues. So Groovy was able to understand that the course type is a string. Now I want to make another change. I want to change the value from Gradle to true. And true here is not string, it's a data type. That's why I didn't add it between single quotation. And now I'll print the type of course variable println course dot get class dot get name. And now I'll execute the program. And as you see here, Groovy was able to identify this is a Boolean type. And so on, if I change this to integer,